All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to be discussing the 5 common objections that you're going to be getting. And these are not your typical objections. These are 5 things that you have to address with prospects before they actually become objections to make your closing process simple and easy. So if you're in the high ticket sales space, coaches, consultant, agency owners, this one is for you. Take down some notes, pay attention, because these are things that you have to address with your prospects in order for it to be easy for you to close. So let's jump into this training right away. Okay, so number 1, you guys, the first thing that you have to address with the prospect is, do they believe that it is actually doable for them to accomplish what they actually want to accomplish? They have to have an internal belief that is actually doable, because you will never sell somebody on something that they do not believe that they can actually accomplish. The business owner has to be, or the person has to be, in a state where they know that they can actually do it, but they're just stuck. In other words, they have to have belief in themselves that they can actually execute on that problem or eventually get to where their desired outcome actually is. Now, there's a way of overcoming that. If you're able to identify that by asking them, when you're going over their goals, if they actually believe that it's actually doable, is getting their buy-in that they are doable, that they can accomplish it with the right help and support. If you're going into the close with that mindset that the person is unsure whether they can even do it or not, oftentimes those things don't get uncovered. They don't bring them up in objections, and they just end up actually ghosting you inside of the sales process. You have to get buy-in that what they want to accomplish is actually doable, I would say, is the first thing. Number 2, do they believe that your business or the person that you're representing, whether it's a coaching consultant or agency services, do they actually believe that they can help them to achieve what they want to actually achieve? So right out of the gates in any kind of coaching, consulting, whatever it may be, I always want to get a better understanding as far as how long the person has actually been following us, how much information has the prospect actually consumed, has he seen a lot of our case studies, testimonials, does he believe that we can actually help them to accomplish their desired outcome. If I know that that's limited and there's not a lot of belief in our ability or the company that I represent's ability, I'm going to have to build that through the presentation by explaining to the person specifically what we do and tying back situations about clients that we've worked with that really represent their current situation with whatever it is that's actually preventing them from getting to their desired outcome. So I know I'm going to have to build or talk more about that if there is an unsurety, because once again, nobody's going to buy from you if they don't believe that they can actually achieve it. And number 2, nobody's ever going to buy from you if they're unsure that your product or your company can actually help them to achieve the desired destination. You have to make sure that those 2 things are actually checked off. The third thing that you have to get buy-in from the prospect is just what's happening from an overall timing standpoint. Why timing is imperative for them to actually do something about. So throughout my questions, when I'm going through my discovery, I'm always asking timing questions along with my goals. How long have you not had the amount of leads for your business that you actually want? How long have you been relying on this one lead source to provide all your leads? How long have you been thinking, gosh, I really need to be able to scale and grow my business? I'm asking a lot of timing questions so that by the time I ask that individual, why is it imperative for them to do something now versus a month down the road, a year down the road, or 2 years down the road, they've already explained to me how long this has actually been going on, and I'm getting buy-in why it's essential that they do something now versus actually put it off before it ends up actually ever becoming an objection. The fourth thing that I cover with people in regards to before it even gets down to the financial aspect is I'm always going to cover their financial situation. I'm going to get a clear idea as far as where they're currently at versus where they want to go. I'm going to get a better idea as far as what the business revenue is. I'm going to get a clear idea as to whether or not this person can actually afford my products or services so that I'm not surprised by the time I get down to the end of the close. And if somebody says, well, I can't afford it, I know that I'm going to be able to explain to them or come up with a solution that does enable them to move forward from a financial standpoint, because I've gotten absolute clarity on where the business or person is at financially prior to ever talking about pricing. The fifth thing is a typical objection that oftentimes come up if it's not covered in the very beginning, which is the decision-making process. Are there spouses? Are there business partners? Are there other people that are actually involved? The way that I love to handle this is say, hey, listen, how do you value your time? Is your time pretty precious? I am super busy as well. Listen, anytime that I'm discussing something with another business, with a business partner where I know that they're going to have a lot of questions for me, I always want to make sure that everybody's in the same page, because it sets the relationship up for success out of the gate if we were to move forward. When can you speak with both you and your partner? It's not about making business decisions. It's about setting up the right intentions for the right relationship first, is what I'm actually focusing on, which is in fact the actual case. You do not want to sell somebody that's, there's other decision makers that aren't all on board. You don't want to sell deals where somebody is unsure. They call you back a week later and say, hey, my business partner really doesn't want to move forward with this, or whatever the situation may be. I insist that the decision makers are on the phone because of my time. I value my time. I know that they value their time, and because I want to start the relationship off right. Now, if you notice that each 5 of these things didn't become objections, they were actually obstacles that I handled prior to them becoming objections at the end of the close. That's why it's so essential that throughout your process, you're getting the buy-in on all 5 of these things before they even come up. Because when you get down to the actual closing conversation and you're asking somebody for their payment information, or they're enrolling into their program, or how they're going to actually pay, you've actually overcome any potential objection that can come up throughout the entire process of the conversation with them, and making sure that you're checking off all of the boxes that you know that the person is in a great situation to move forward. If you'll remember these 5 things, implement them into your questions, handle concerns before they become objections, you're going to close more deals. As always, you guys, put in the comments below if you have any questions. Love to be able to support and help you. And in the link, we've got a Facebook group where we answer a lot of these questions as well. We'll look forward to having you on other videos. See you guys.